I know I look rough right now, but if you only knew what I have been dealing with for the last 4 days, I am reporting love from my worst ever hostel experience. You may be saying, why were you there for 4 days? I'm gonna get to all of that in a moment and break it all down. But first, just check out everything.
This is the side street that my hostel is located on. I guess a house is being built across the street from it. But anyway, there is a store where you can get water and pop right next door to the hostel. And that's behind the little red crates that you're seeing right now. This is the front gate to the hostel, and inside you will see the cork board. This has suggestions for activities like catching a ferry to nearby islands in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and also some basic Swahili sayings. Swahili is the language that is spoken in Tanzania. Now let's go inside this hostel that I am dreading so very badly. This is a vestibule. I know you have not heard that word in a long time unless you're in somebody's church. But this is like, it's supposed to be a living room area, but I just feel like I'm in somebody's house. I don't feel like this is a hostel. I've stayed in 2 hostels before in Europe. I understand I am in Africa. It's not going to be the same. But you see the ironing board hanging out, a broken water tank. It's just like, what's going on here? The dirty doorknob handle that happens to be my room. It just needed some touch-up paint. And I'm going to show you the bathroom. And it's standard to not have a shower curtain in Tanzania. My current Airbnb doesn't even have a shower curtain. But there's no AC in this hostel, which I knew beforehand. But that's why you see the window being open, because when you're taking a shower, you need to let the air out. And, ooh, great, you get to have mosquitoes come in and probably bite you. Not probably, I have gotten bitten taking a shower here, or flies. How relaxing, right? Look at that door, need some paint on there. I will say that they did clean this bathroom a couple times a day, and it was all right. Now let's get to my room.
I just felt like I was in a jail cell because I only had this little bed in here, and it's a pretty big room. But I was supposed to have my own bathroom, and I did not have my own bathroom. I don't know. I'm so tired. I keep looking in different directions. So
Yes, you heard correctly. I did not have my own bathroom like I was supposed to, but I got the grand prize of this cot, aka my twin mattress bed that was so uncomfortable. Now that dirt stains you see, I know it's like TMI, but that's for me sweating because there wasn't no AC up in here. It was a poorly ventilated room. I had a little window that had poor ventilation, and there was no airflow coming in my door because it was to keep flies and mosquitoes out from the rest of the house. So I hated this room. Now check out the size and see why I'm saying like I feel like I was in like a jail cell, which I don't even know what a jail cell feels like. But look how big this room is. This little plastic little raggedy chair. Ugh. Now check out this shared room in the hostel. 5 people are in this room. So this is typical in the hostel. Whenever I stay in the hostel, I typically get my own room. But ooh, if I had to share a room in here, I would be, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. This is the shared kitchen for the house. There is no traditional stove or oven. You see like a hot plate straight ahead and a refrigerator that you could store your stuff in. And the house does sell like beer and water in this kitchen. This is the common area. Now, the common area in a hospital is usually where people hang out and socialize. They may work, just to meet other fellow travelers. I did not experience that a whole lot here. People tend to like leave out for the day. And did you see that makeshift couch? Like it was just 2 mattresses hanging on a pallet. Like that's not a couch. It wasn't comfortable. These little plastic chairs, it's not hospitable is my point. And I just was so over it. And I'm walking towards a outdoor bathroom that has no door on the bathroom stall, in the entrance, or in the shower stall. But I wasn't able to go in to record because somebody was actually in there brushing their teeth. So I turned around. But I just was so underwhelmed. So finally, after 4 days, I got in my Uber. Yes, this is my Uber. In Tanzania, it is common to have a tuk-tuk as your ride, because I guess there was something going on with Uber and Bolt. That's another ride sharing app where cars were not able to be used on the platform. So tuk-tuks are Uber. I just found out about Bolt a couple days ago. I used the app in Spain, but it's available in Tanzania, and you do have the car option. But for the majority of my time in Tanzania, I was using the tuk-tuk. So I moseyed on down the street to my Airbnb. This is the common area to my Airbnb. Look how bright it is. It looks more modern. And this is the main road that my Airbnb is located off of. And let's go inside and check it out. Last night, I did take the L, but tonight I bounced back. Oh my goodness, I love this Airbnb. Oh, I love having my own space, and I actually do prefer studio Airbnbs the more that I travel. I just feel like it's a more cozy, and I feel a little bit more secure seeing everything in one place. A real sofa. Yes, I was so happy to see a real couch. The kitchen is small in the studio, and there's only a hot plate. There's not like a stove or oven, but it did the job for the days I was here. It had cable with the TV. Now let's go up this spiral staircase to check out my full-size bed. I was so happy with this bed. It was comfortable, clean sheets. I mean, the hostel sheets were clean too, but it was an AC in here. I was just so very comfortable. I got plenty of good sleep while I stayed here. What do you think about this hostel? Let me know in the comments below. My host was great. Got my clothes washed and ironed, cleaned. They cleaned my space every 2 days. I just really truly enjoyed my stay. Now, before I break down all the issues I had in the hostel, I need you to do me a favor and leave me a comment. I've already asked you what you think about the Airbnb, but comments help my video get out to other viewers who like to see travel vlogs and learn about personal finance. Also, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you will never miss a video when I drop one. All right, now let's get back into these details.
Let me tell you all the things that went wrong in this hostel. First, arriving. When I walked into the hostel, I'm like, all right, this looks weird. It looks like a regular house. I'm not really seeing a common area, but that was just in the entryway. Walls needed to look like they need a little fresh paint or something. It looked dingy. And she goes, I have a problem. You have the room, private room with the bathroom. I'm like, yes, I do. She's like, well, unfortunately, that room's not available and he's not leaving until tomorrow. Is that okay? And I'm like, I mean, I don't have a choice. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Long travel day to get to Tanzania. I actually had a layover, which y'all know I said I was never going to do layovers, but I really did not have a choice. I was not paying triple the flight price. I was not about to pay like $2,000 for a flight. So I had a layover in Qatar from Romania. So anyway, back to the story. I'm like, you know what? I just want to get into my place, right? When I landed, it was a little bit of a culture shock because the Ubers are tuk-tuks. It's not cars. So I'm like, let me just get into my bedroom and we can, change rooms tomorrow. I should have followed my first mind and looked for a new place to stay as soon as she said the room wasn't available. Like, I stayed that night, just like I said, because I was tired from travel. But then that night when I was in my bed, I should have been looking for something to immediately book into the next day. She had told me that the guy was leaving or supposed to be leaving or whatever that next morning, which was Sunday. So I'm like, okay, that morning I wake up, I'm going to get breakfast or something because I wanted to explore. I'm like, let me just try to put on a new face, because I was like, when I first got landed, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. And I go out for the day, and I did not come back until like I didn't make it back to the hostel until like 8 in the evening. Second thing that I was giving the host a side eye on, the host is the owner, Maria. I sent her a message on WhatsApp at around 7 p.m. asking for clarity on where to tell the Uber driver to go, because now it's nighttime. And The Uber driver could not find the place. And I'm like, he was at this building. I'm like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. And I'm trying to get there on Google Maps. So I'm like, I don't speak the local language. And I'm trying to, he was patient. He wasn't rushing me or anything. We were trying to communicate through Google Translate. But it's easier for me just to call her so she can speak to him. She not answering. And then I'm like, okay, this is odd. Because usually my experience in other hostels, they have people, it's like a hotel, they have people available to answer questions and emails. It's not like it was 1 a.m. Like, this is a common thing that happens. I get back to the hostel and go in the back. This is where I see she sent an automated message. Like, this is a for real business that sent an automated message. She sent it like 20 minutes after I tried to call her and send her a message. And I go in, she's in the back in the comment area chilling. You mean to tell me you couldn't answer that phone and give this man directions? Okay. All right. When I see her, I don't even say nothing about her playing dumb about my WhatsApp messages. I said, all right, let me go into my room now. Since it's the evening and he was supposed to have been out this morning. He stayed another night, and so unfortunately the room's not available. You couldn't message me during the day and tell me that? I thought you were here. If you thought I was here, why didn't you message me on WhatsApp if you couldn't find me? So I'm like, okay. So I go back to the room and I'm trying to find me somewhere to stay at. I have an Airbnb for me to go to on a Wednesday. At this point, it is Sunday evening. It's like 8, 9 o'clock. So I'm not going nowhere that night. I'm looking for something for me to check in to be at Monday and Tuesday until I can get to my Airbnb on a Wednesday. But you played me. And it's like, it's just no way around that. So I can't really find anything. I can't check into my Airbnb earlier because it's not available. So I'm like, let me just see if it's going to happen the next morning, because I couldn't find anything. And when I say I couldn't find anything, meaning on the part of Salaam that I'm on, that to be near my Airbnb, because Tanzania is such an adjustment. It's the main roads are paved, the other roads are not. You're not riding in a car, you're riding in a tuk-tuk. Some of the Uber drivers are like, give me cash when you get to the Uber, even though it's Uber and you got the credit card, etc. They're like, no, we only take cash. So it's just a lot of adjustments to make with the food. The food is like, I hadn't had good food at this point. I'm like, all right, I know the area that I'm in right now, and I know finally how to get to these food spots or whatever, which was my host didn't help me with, which I'm gonna get to in a moment. I'm like, all right, I want to stay in this area for the most part until I go to Zanzibar. So I'm like, I couldn't find anything. And I'm like, all right, let me just be patient. Maybe I'm wrong. No. Next morning, and she goes, just pack up everything tonight. And so I was like, well, if he's not leaving and checking out, he don't know he's checking out, we need to switch rooms. And she's like, okay, you're right. I pack everything and then be ready to change our rooms in the morning. Morning comes. This is Monday morning. I'm like, yo, what up? Let's do the switch out before I go start my day. He's not in his room. He left. So I'm going to just move your stuff to the room when, when he gets back and we can do the switch out. I'm like, all right. I told her I'm going on the ferry. I went to get something to eat and I came back 2 hours later. I'm like, all right, so you mean to tell me you can't contact him? Where he at? He's coming. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait. At this point, I'm like, I got phone calls to make anyway. So then she come out at 3 o'clock. Yeah, he's not gonna switch rooms. You knew that. You knew that when I came here on Saturday that I was not going to have that room. You should have just been honest and said that crap. And I said I really need to have my own bathroom. And on top of that, the room, I felt like I was in a jail cell. It was just horrible. It was no ventilation. It had a wax ceiling fan in the window. I knew it didn't have AC, but it was like no breeze was coming through that window. And it was so hot and closed in because it was no way for air to circulate from the house because it was the bottom of the door was blocked off so mosquitoes wouldn't get in. So here I am, Monday evening,
again. Well, Monday afternoon. And she goes, well, I'm going to try to find somewhere else between that I know that may have space. And I'm looking again, it's refreshing to see if I can find something. And she goes, I do have my friend. She has space in her hostel. She tell me the name. I look it up on Google. At this point, I'm like, read the reviews don't matter, because I know you can have people fake your reviews. And I'm like, clearly these people must have been stupid or lying about something. I don't know. Everybody's experience is different, so let me just stop being mad. But oh, she's so accommodating. It was clean or whatever. Accommodating for doing what? Lying about having a room available and not want to answering WhatsApp messages about directions. Yeah, that's very accommodating. So I'm like, all right. The reviews was fine. I'm like, you said it's near the beach. I'm like, so how far away is it? And she goes, it's not that far, and it's near. She was telling me to, and like, I know what she mean. Like, I'm talking about how far away is it? Like in 30 minutes or an hour? You trying to describe what side of Tanzania it's on? Girl, I'm not gonna tell you to go. Oh, it's on. We on 7 Mile, and oh, you just gotta go to Dexter and Linwood. That's not helping. Like, I don't know what that means. If you ain't you don't know what that means, I'm telling you, right? Those streets, you're like, what is that? It's set. I'm in Taylor. Oh, I'm on Eureka Road, and it's over on Ecorse. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. And so I'm like, let me. If the address is correct, let me just do directions on Google Maps. Y'all, it was an hour away by ferry. Like, I had to take a Uber, which is a tuk-tuk. And then the tuk-tuk goes on the ferry, and then I have to. It was just too much. I said, I could see a lot of things going wrong with that. I'm just going to stay here, and you need to run me my money for the difference. And I was just irritated. And she's like, she had attitude with me. How you got attitude with me when you over here lying and scheming? Oof. Other thing that I did not like about her. She seemed to be accommodating the first day I got there. Like, I needed mosquito spray. And I was starving, so I'm like, is there any places in walking distance? Because again, me looking at stuff in Google Maps, stuff is not accurate with the addresses and hours. You from here, is it? If I walk, when I come out this door and turn right, when I run into some food within a 2-minute walk, like that type of stuff? Because I'm not trying to do the Uber thing because it was already a lot. I can order food for you. Okay, order the food. Food was nasty. The chicken was dry. It tastes like it's been sitting out all day. Fries, and she's like, well, it's Saturday, so a lot of places are closing early. So I'm like, another thing about a good hostel host, Airbnb host, whatever, is people are going, if they're traveling, coming, they're going to want to know about food. It's not like you had snacks on deck in the kitchen. So aside from the first day, when I'm like, hey, is there something? I asked her again the next day, like, because stuff was open. Where can I go? Is this stuff accurate? Like, what do you recommend? Oh, no, it just depends on what you want. What do you want? I'm like, girl, I want hot food. Like, I don't want no dry chicken that I had yesterday. She couldn't tell me nothing. She has a list when you come in of recommended things to do. When I would ask her details about, like, okay, the ferry, like, I'm trying to find it in Google, I'm not seeing it, just stuff like that. And she was just looking at me like, like I was bothering her. And then she was like, oh, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. What she sent me on WhatsApp was different from what was posted. So I'm like, you listen, people are coming to this hostel from all over the world. If you don't want to be bothered and you don't want to constantly tell people stuff you say, repeat every day like it's 51st dates, and this is not what you should be doing. Like, come on. And then people leaving these reviews talking about she's so accommodating where. And I don't know if it was just something with me, because the man in the hostel said that she was great and she was friendly and she was accommodating for them. And I'm like, well, whenever I asked her a question or something, she got an attitude with me. That was probably guilt, because you knew you was lying to me about getting this room. But I'm like, wow, okay. Then I realized that the men that were there in the private rooms, they would walk her to the store at night or whatever, because she didn't want to walk by herself as a woman. I'm assuming, because when I asked this one guy to walk with me to find some food, he was like, oh, I'm walking with Maria, we're going to go somewhere. And she kind of like, when she saw I was there, she kind of looked like side-eye. So you walking around here, it's like other hostels and I know this is a different country, so everything is not going to be the same. I get that. And cultural differences, I understand. Hostel in Barcelona, People like, oh, if you're gonna go by yourself, I can walk with you, whatever. I can give you let me see if someone else is going, that type of thing. She was like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm just here to let y'all in the house and fake wash these walls. That's it. So the hostel itself did not have any community. And the whole reason I got a hostel for a couple of days, one, the Airbnb I really like wasn't available. I'm like, oh, I get to meet people. I had been isolating for a couple of weeks in Romania, so I was ready to meet people and put on that brave face and be a fake extrovert for a few days. And the common areas, nobody was there. And I know the host doesn't have any control over if people want to come out and be social. Everybody could have been introverts like me, right? But the common areas, it was like, no, people were there, they were not there. It was just like the vibe was just so freaking weird. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, it was just off. And I did end up becoming cool with one of the guys there. And let me tell you about this little story. Now, y'all know I mentioned that I was asking Maria about food suggestions or whatever. And so one of these days, I smelled some food coming from the kitchen that smelled really good. So I came in there like, can I have some of this food? She could have been cooking it for herself. I'm like, girl, I'll pay you for a plate. It just smell good, look good, whatever. And he goes, no, I'm fixing this or whatever. This guy, he is from Jordan, and he's like, oh, you can have some, or you don't leave, I'll make you a plate. And I'm like thinking he's just saying this. So I'm like, okay, I'll go in the back and wait like 10-15 minutes on my phone. And I'm like, I get ready to just like duck out. He saw me trying to leave. He like, no, I really mean it, you can have some food. All right, you ain't gotta beg me. It smelled good, it looked good, so I'm gonna try it. It was so good. That's probably the best food I had in Tanzania so today. And things are about to turn left. So after we eat or whatever, he's like, do you want to go to the beach? Maria and this other guy in the hostel, we went yesterday or whatever. We can split the two, so no point in taking multiple rides. I'm like, cool. It was gonna get dark in like hour and a half, so I'm like, all right, I'll go to the beach with you. I didn't feel no weird vibes. I had already been to this beach, this area, so I was familiar with it. So I'm like, okay, it's fine, whatever. We were having a decent conversation when we was there, talking about like travel and real estate and whatever. Get to the beach, it's going all good, and then I'm like messing with my hair, looking at people on the beach, and he goes, oh, can I touch your hair? Absolutely not. You need to look up a song by Salaam. It's called Don't Touch My Hair, because you ain't gonna touch this black woman's hair. And black women in general do not want you touching their hair like it's an exhibit. Like, oh my, I've never seen hair like this. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. You ain't about to touch my hair. And so he was like, really, I can't? I'm like, no, you cannot touch my hair. The hell? So then he goes, oh, here we go. This is where the game's about to begin. Are you married? Are you single? How old are you? And I'm like, all right, now I'm going to say this. I'm not feeling uncomfortable. It's not like I'm in secluded and he can run away with me or whatever. No, I do not know him. I just met him a couple hours ago, so we are at the beach. So it could be like, oh my God, that's a dangerous situation. This is something that happens when you travel solo. If you are in a hostel, a co-working space, you just meet people and you go out to dinner, you go out to lunch. It's just a common thing. And I've done this before, not like I'm always going to the beach with some guy or nothing like that, but I've done this before, and plenty of times no guys just try to hit on me or whatever. It's just a thing you do as a solo traveler. And yeah, I know, Dateline mystery, guys could be in there acting like they travelers and try to smuggle you and all that stuff, but I don't live my life in fear. And so I'm not thinking anything about this, going to the beach, just gotta have coffee or whatever. And I did not think he was trying to flirt with me at all, but he was. And then I'm like, all right, let me do this, because I'm not interested in you and you getting on my nerve. So he's like, and then he was paying for stuff, like, before I could, like, well, I was paying for stuff, just the ride, like, because he did that on this app, and I'm like, oh, how much? I'll give you half. Oh, don't worry about it. And I got a cappuccino at the place we was at. I ain't getting nothing else, and I was going to pay the server. He was like, oh, no, I got it. And he started giving the money to the guy or whatever, and I'm like, giving him the money, so I put it in his pocket, and he was like, kept putting it back on the table. So I'm like, whatever. So that's all the context for that. Now, I am like, I'm ready to go back to the hostel because you get on my nerve. Because he's all like, oh, you're gonna be my habibi, and that like means my love. I'm like, no, I'm not. Mind you, this man's from Jordan. He's married. He has 2 kids, and he's all like, well, in my culture, we can have multiple wives, but I'm not taking on another wife. But I can have a girlfriend. Sir, I'm not interested in being your concubine. Like, that's not a compliment to me, because I never in my life aspired to be someone's side chick at all. And so with your, or being one of wives, that's just not how my brain operates. That's not the lifestyle that I want to live. If you do, to each his own. I do not care. That's not me. So when you, that's insulting to me that you think that, no. And then he's like, oh, I said, can your wife have a boyfriend? Oh, no, that's just disrespect. Like, he was so offended that I asked that. Okay, I'm offended that you think I want to be your concubine. How about that? Like, if you don't get out of my face. So anyway, we went back to the hostel, and he kept trying to make his little plays or advances or whatever. He didn't not touch me, and I didn't feel any way like violated from that standpoint or anything like that. It was words, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep my distance from you. And today when I left, he was like, oh, you didn't even tell me you were leaving. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to my Airbnb. And he's like, oh, is it you by yourself or you? Yeah, I'm by myself. And I knew he was about to say, where is it? You ain't coming to my Airbnb. You love this hostel life, this little dingy hostel, and he actually was the one that had the room with the bathroom. You stay where you love. This is not my scene at all. So I'm out. And I don't want your, you are not about to come where I'm at. So anyway, what would you have done in this situation? Not with this weirdo, but just in this situation in general, being in a hostel, being in accommodations you hate. If you have not seen any of my other videos or hate my Airbnbs, I got out of there swiftly. But I think, at this point, just being drained, I don't know. Some things I wish I would have just followed my gut and left immediately when I got there. And just been tired and drained the first night, and I would have had a better first few days in Tanzania. Be sure to like and share this video, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you can see more videos from me about my travel experiences and me sharing personal finance tips so you can travel the world like I am.